Claudette Colvin, a pioneer of the civil rights movement, she, at age 15, famously refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus 9 months before Rosa Parks. She passed on January 13th due to natural causes. She was 86 years old. Eva Schloss, Holocaust survivor, memoirist, and the stepsister of Anne Frank. She spent her later years as a dedicated educator on the legacy of the Holocaust. She passed on January 3rd from natural causes. She was 96 years old. Sly Dunbar, the legendary Jamaican drummer and one half of the powerhouse duo Sly and Robbie. He was a central figure in the evolution of reggae and dancehall. He passed away after battling a long illness on January 26th from kidney failure. He was 73 years old. Bob Weir, founding member and rhythm guitarist of the Grateful Dead. He was a cornerstone of the American jam band scene for over 6 decades. He passed away on January 10th due to lung complications despite overcoming cancer. He was 78 years old. Kenny Morris, influential drummer for the post-punk band Susie and the Banshees. He passed on January 15th after a brief illness. He was only 68 years old. John Forte, Grammy-nominated producer and recording artist best known for his work with the Fugees. He passed on January 12th with cause of death not publicly disclosed. He was only 50 years old. Rob Hurst, drummer and founding member of the Australian rock band Midnight Oil. He died from pancreatic cancer on January 20th. He was 70 years old. Matt Kwasniewski-Kelvin, guitarist and founding member of the acclaimed experimental rock band Black Midi. He died on January 12 from mental health struggles. He was just 26 years old. Sir Mark Tully, the iconic former BBC Delhi bureau chief whose voice was synonymous with reporting from the Indian subcontinent for decades. He passed from a multi-organ failure on January 26. He was 90 years old. Victoria Jones, daughter of actor Tommy Lee Jones. She was found deceased in San Francisco on New Year's Day. Cause of death is still unknown, though there are speculations of a drug overdose. She was just 34 years old. Guy Moon, prolific composer for television, notably for Nickelodeon shows like The Fairly OddParents. He died on January 8 from a traffic collision involving a scooter. He was only 63 years old. Tony Carr, a prominent British drummer known for his work with the group CCS and for his session work with Hot Chocolate. He passed away in London on January 2nd with his cause of death not publicly specified. He was 98 years old. Johnny Legend, an American rockabilly musician and actor. He died in Newport, Oregon, from complications following a stroke and heart failure on January 2nd. He was 77 years old. William Kalani Medeiros Jr., a well-known figure in the Honolulu community and a native of Kona, Hawaii. He passed on January 2nd. His cause of death is not publicly specified. He was 79 years old. Kiana Underwood, former child star known for her roles on Nickelodeon's All That and Little Bill. She was killed on January 16th by a hit-and-run driver. She was just 33 years old. Calbo, the French rapper famously known as one half of the influential hip-hop duo Arsenic, passed away on January 4th due to cancer. He was only 52 years old. George Cabot Lodge, a distinguished professor emeritus at Harvard Business School and former Assistant Secretary of Labor. A member of the prominent Lodge family, he was a prolific scholar and a key figure in business-government relations who passed on January 4th with cause of death not publicly specified. He was 98 years old. Tara M. Moran, a prominent figure in the fashion industry for over 40 years. She was notably the director of USA operations for the iconic brand Fiorucci during its cultural peak in the late 70s and 80s. She passed on January 4th with cause of death not publicly stated. She was 71 years old. Doug LaMalfa, a prominent American politician, former U.S. representative for California, whose death was reported on this date. He reportedly passed on January 6th from a sudden medical emergency, reported as stomach pain leading to a local aortic aneurysm. He was only 65 years old. W. Jerome Jerry Fauci, a philanthropist and businessman from Madison, Wisconsin. He was the former leader of Webcrafters and is best known for his record-breaking $205 million gift to create the Overture Center for the Arts, one of the largest private donations to the arts in U.S. history. He passed on January 8th with cause of death not publicly specified. He was 94 years old. William Bill Lee, a veteran of the golf industry who spent decades in sales with Royal Golf. He was a well-known community figure in Skaneateles, New York and Scottsdale, Arizona. He was 93 years old when he passed on January 8th with cause of death not publicly specified. Lori Maria Balster, a distinguished chemist and the CEO of Knowledge Imports, LLC. She was a prolific researcher who spent over 3 decades working with institutions like the University of Dayton Research Institute and the U.S. Department of Defense. She was also a published author of fiction and philosophical articles. Lori passed on January 9th with cause of death not publicly disclosed. She was only 52 years old. David Lee Janevi, a prominent sociologist and professor emeritus at Mankato State University. He was the founder and director of the university's gerontology program and served on the Minnesota Board on Aging. He passed on January 9th with cause of death not publicly disclosed. He was 91 years old. Valeria Fedeli, Italian politician who served as Minister of Education 2016 to 2018 and Senator 2013 to 2022. He passed on January 14 from a serious illness. He was 76 years old. Bruce Leung, Hong Kong martial artist and actor featured in The Return of the Condor Heroes, Broken Oath, and The Legendary Fock, died of heart failure. He passed on January 14 from cardiac arrest. He was 77 years old. Herbert Arthur Hessler, a skilled craftsman and handyman from St. Peters, Missouri, who passed away at the age of 83 on January 15th from natural causes. Chaikin Valadez, social media influencer, was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds in his truck on January 10th. His family shared a touching remembrance following the news. He was only 44 years old. Rob Oliver, the former fire chief of Okanagan Falls, Canada. A veteran of the fire service for 43 years, he was known for his leadership and his signature phrase, "I've got a guy for that." Rob passed away after a long battle with cancer on January 18th. He was only 69 years old. Dr. Marilyn Johanna Hoover, a distinguished professor of biology at Augustana College and a pioneer in medical technology. She was the first recipient of a major national graduate scholarship in her field and served as a mentor to decades of students. She passed away on January 18th from natural causes. She was 95 years old. Barbara Ehrenstein, Black American legal historian and the first woman to serve as dean of an Ivy League law school, Columbia Law School, 1986 to 1991. She passed on January 20th from natural causes. She died at age 92. Lucien Muller, French football midfielder who earned 16 caps and played for clubs including Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. He also managed several teams. He passed on January 20th from natural causes. He died at age 91. Tommy Wright, English football right-back with 12 caps for England and over 300 appearances for Everton. He died at age 81 on January 20th after passing away with cause of death not publicly specified, implying natural causes. Adekunle Ojora, Nigerian oil and gas executive, at age 93. He died on January 28 with medical details on cause of death not disclosed. Chung Sang-hwa, South Korean dansekwa, monochrome painting, artist, died at age 93 on January 28 from a prolonged illness. Thomas Kanunkel, Indian Jesuit priest, educationist, and former chairman of the Central Board of Secondary Education 1980 to 1987, died at age 99 on January 28 from natural causes. John Brody, former NFL MVP and legendary quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He died due to complications from a stroke on January 23rd. He was 90 years old. Glenn Hall, known as Mr. Goalie, the Hockey Hall of Famer and two-time Stanley Cup winner, held the record for the most consecutive games played by a goaltender. He gave up on January 7th. His cause of death is not publicly disclosed. He was 94 years old. Wilbur Wood, three-time All-Star pitcher known for his durability and his signature knuckleball. He died on January 17th. His cause of death was not publicly disclosed. He was 84 years old. Ahn Sung-ki, the national actor of South Korea, whose career spanned decades with legendary roles in films like A Fine, Windy Day, and Two Cops. He lost his life to cancer on January 5th. He was 74 years old. Tan Yi-kan, a legendary figure in Malaysian badminton. He was a champion in the 1960s, notably winning the All England doubles titles and the Thomas Cup. He died January 26th with no cause of death publicly disclosed. He was 85 years old. Scott Adams, the creator of the long-running Dilbert comic strip, who passed away after a long battle with prostate cancer. He passed on January 13th. He was 68 years old. T.K. Carter, a versatile actor beloved for his roles in John Carpenter's The Thing and the sitcom Punky Brewster. He passed on January 9th with no cause of death specified. He was 69 years old. Michael Reagan, radio host and the eldest son of President Ronald Reagan. He died from cancer on January 4th. He was 80 years old. Béla Tarr, the visionary Hungarian director known for his long-take masterpieces like Satin Tango and The Turin Horse. He passed on 6th of January following a long and serious illness. He was 70 years old. Francis Buchholz, longtime bassist for the German rock giant Scorpions during their peak commercial era in the 1970s and 80s. He passed on January 22nd from cancer. He was 71 years old. Yaisen Jimenez, the popular Colombian singer-songwriter, tragically died in a plane crash earlier this month. He died from a plane crash on January 10th. He was just 34 years old. Destiny Boy, the rising Nigerian singer-songwriter known for his unique Fuji pop style. He passed on January 18 from a long-term illness. Also known as and or spelled as Ogun Oru or Oku Oru. He was just 22 years old. Sal Buscema, a prolific comic book artist whose work defined eras of the Incredible Hulk and the Spectacular Spider-Man from Marvel. He passed on January 24th with death not being publicly disclosed. He was 59 years old. Sia Figiel, the influential Samoan novelist and poet, widely considered one of the most important voices in contemporary Pacific literature. She was found dead in her cell, where she had been while awaiting sentencing on January 26th with no cause of death currently confirmed. She was only 59 years old. Valentino Garavani, the legendary Italian fashion designer and founder of the Valentino Fashion House. Known as the Chic of Chic, he defined high society elegance for over half a century and was famous for his signature Valentino Red. He passed on January 19th from natural causes. He was 93 years old. Kim Vo, a celebrity hairstylist and master colorist known for his work with stars like Gwyneth Paltrow and Britney Spears. He passed away after a long battle with colorectal cancer on January 19th. He was only 55 years old. Elle Simone Scott, the beloved chef and stylist from America's Test Kitchen, who was a vocal advocate for women in the culinary arts and ovarian cancer awareness. She died from the ovarian cancer on January 5th, unfortunately. She was only 55 years old. Lula Lava, a prominent Indonesian internet personality and influencer who was found deceased in Jakarta. She was found dead in her apartment after undergoing surgery for medical conditions she had. Cause of death is still not confirmed. This was on January 23rd. She was just 26 years old. George Vasiliou, the former president of Cyprus, 1988 to 1993, who was instrumental in the country's modernization and initial efforts toward EU membership. He passed on January 13 following a severe respiratory infection. He was 94 years old. Colette Flesch, a powerhouse of Luxembourgish politics and former Olympic fencer. She served as deputy prime minister and mayor of Luxembourg City. She passed on January 21st at 88 years old. Her cause of death is unconfirmed. Princess Desiree, Baroness Silferskield, a member of the Swedish royal family and sister to King Carl XVI Gustav. She was 87 years old when she passed on January 21st. Cause of death not specified. Phil Goyette, a four-time Stanley Cup winner with the Montreal Canadiens and the very first coach in the history of the New York Islanders. He died on January 17th with no official cause of death. He was 92 years old. Dave Justi, a key relief pitcher for the 1971 World Series winning Pittsburgh Pirates, known for his devastating palm ball. He died on January 11th with no cause of death confirmed. He was 86 years old. Uli Kessenholz, a pioneer in snowboarding and an Olympic bronze medalist for Switzerland. He died from an avalanche accident while snowboarding with a friend on January 11th. He was only 50 years old. Chet Brooks, a former NFL safety and two-time Super Bowl champion with the San Francisco 49ers. He died from cancer on January 16th. He was only 59 years old. Brett Hannah-Schufert, a Broadway veteran known for his roles in Wicked and Beauty and the Beast. He passed away from complications of an aggressive form of lymphoma. He died on January 3rd from a very brief but intense battle against a rare and aggressive form of peripheral T-cell lymphoma and hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis, HLH, a life-threatening immune system disorder. He was only 46 years old. Roger Allers, the co-director of the original The Lion King and a major figure in the Disney Renaissance of the 1990s. He passed on January 17th from a short, sudden illness. He was 76 years old. Yvonne Lime, an actress from the golden age of Hollywood who starred alongside Elvis Presley in Loving You and later co-founded the charity Child Help. She died on January 23rd with no medical cause of death confirmed. She was 90 years old. Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse, was fatally shot on January 24th by federal agents in Minneapolis while attempting to help a bystander during a protest. He was just 37 years old. Renee Nicole Good, a mother of three, was fatally shot by federal agents on January 7th during an operation in South Minneapolis, sparking local unrest. She was just 37 years old. Camilo Isaac Chavarria, a Panamanian model and reality star known for his participation in the reality show Calle 7 and his victory in the Mr. Panama 2021 competition. He passed away suddenly from a heart attack on January 6th. He was just 27 years old. Salvo Basile, the Italian-born actor and director who became a titan of Colombian cinema and television. He passed on January 26th from cancer. He was 85 years old. William Foge, a giant in epidemiology and former director of the CDC. He is credited with devising the global strategy that led to the eradication of smallpox, saving tens of millions of lives. William passed from heart failure on January 24th. He was 89 years old. Helen Leach, a renowned New Zealand food anthropologist whose work explored the deep history of how humans eat and cook. She died on January 23rd with no medical cause of death reported. She was 80 years old. Lee Hae-chan, former Prime Minister of South Korea and a key figure in the country's liberal political movement for over 3 decades. He passed on January 25th from myocardial infarction, which is basically a heart attack. He was 73 years old. Kirsty Duncan, a Canadian scientist and politician who served as Minister of Science. She was notably part of the team that led the search for the 1918 Spanish flu virus. She died on January 26th from cancer. She was only 59 years old. Brian Crowley, long-serving Irish politician and member of the European Parliament, known for his advocacy for disability rights. He died on January 23rd from a lengthy illness and long-term health complications. He was only 61 years old. Rado Vidosic, a prominent figure in Australian football, having coached multiple A-League clubs to success. He died on January 27th from cancer. He was only 64 years old. Norman Gifford, a legendary English cricketer and former captain of Worcestershire, known for his elite spin bowling. He died January 19th from a prolonged battle with illness. He was 85 years old. Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, India, was January 28th when his chartered plane crashed while attempting to land in Baramti. The aircraft reportedly burst into flames on impact. All 5 people on board, including his security staff and 2 pilots, perished. India has declared 3 days of state mourning. He was only 66 years old. Alexis Ortega, the popular Mexican voice actor, best known as the Latin American Spanish voice of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, passed away. He was a beloved figure in the dubbing community, having also voiced characters in Star Wars, Rogue One, and Big Hero 6. He passed on January 24th with cause of death not publicly disclosed. He was just 38 years old. Rikio Shimada, the prominent Japanese economist known for his influential work on labor markets and international trade. He passed on January 28th. He was 86 years old. No cause of death confirmed. Virginia Oliver, known as Maine's Lobster Lady, she was the oldest active lobster harvester in the world, having worked on the water for over 9 decades. She passed on January 21st. She lived 105 solid years. Cause of death not confirmed, but one should think she was due. David Andrews, British actor and director beloved for his work on shows like Hollyoaks and Grange Hill. He passed on January 27th from cancer. He was 90 years old. Brad Branson, former NBA player who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers. His death was announced January 27th with no official reports of his death cause. He was only 67 years old. Antonio Chainho, a legendary Portuguese fado guitarist and master of the Portuguese guitar. He died on January 27th with no cause of death reported. He was 88 years old. Boris Ignatiev, renowned Russian football manager and former head coach of the Russian national team. He passed on January 27th from cancer. He was 85 years old. Dennis Milton, American professional boxer who famously defeated Gerald McClellan. He passed on January 27th. No public record regarding his death. He was only 64 years old. Vladislav Chernyshenko, celebrated Russian conductor. He passed on January 27th from prolonged illness. He was 90 years old. Tato, born Carlos Alberto Araújo Prestes, he was a former Brazilian football star who played for Fluminense and Coritiba. He died from esophageal cancer on January 27th. He was only 64 years old. Ilyas Pasha, Indian football star for East Bengal. He died January 22nd from cancer. He was only 61 years. Punjab Bunnag, former Thai Minister of Defense. He died on January 22nd. He was 100 years old. He died from natural causes, understandably. Nancy Alice Zerker, beloved Washington educator and quilter. She died on January 22nd with cause of death not publicly disclosed. She was 94 years old. Janet Jan Brixius, well-known Minnesota community advocate. She died from the injuries she sustained in an accident on January 13th. She was 85 years old. John L. Allen Jr., renowned American journalist specializing in Vatican news. He died on January 22nd from cancer. He was only 61 years old. Hifumi Kato, legendary Japanese shogi player. He died on January 22nd from pneumonia. He was 86 years old. Walter Martinez, prominent Venezuelan journalist. He died on January 22nd from a chase of death not publicly specified. He was 84 years old. Ileana M. Lucero, noted Nicaraguan-American philanthropist. He passed on January 13th with cause of death not publicly disclosed. She was 87 years old. Marion Goodman, influential American art dealer. She passed on January 22nd from natural causes. She was 97 years old. Kathleen Marie Williams, noted Maine artist and business leader. She passed on January 23rd from lung cancer. She was only 68 years old. Dame Marie Bashir, the former governor of New South Wales, 2001 to 2014, and the first woman to hold the post. A celebrated psychiatrist and academic, she was known for her immense compassion and advocacy for mental health and Indigenous rights. She passed on January 20th with no public reports on her cause of death, but most likely and understandably natural causes. She was 95 years old. Michael Andrew Pilla, a brilliant engineer and MIT alumnus who earned his PhD while working full-time. He was an avid pilot and entrepreneur known for his sharp wit and passion for 3D printing and design later in life. He passed on the 18th of January with his cause of death not publicly available. He was 86 years old. Rebecca Louise Perry Graham, matriarch of a prominent North Carolina family. She passed away on January 24th with no publicity specified cause of death. She was 84 years old. Constantino de Oliveira Jr., founder and former CEO of Brazil's GOL Airlines. He passed on January 24th from cancer. He was only 57 years old. Captain Philip Muldowney, British Army officer killed during a training incident at Audubon on January 25th. He was just 25 years old. Kai Buddy, a legendary German professional gamer and Magic: The Gathering Hall of Famer. Known as the German Juggernaut, he is a 7-time Pro Tour champion and one of the most successful players in the game's history. He passed away on January 29th from cancer. He was only 46 years old. Santoryu Henri, a retired professional sumo wrestler and mixed martial artist. Born in the United States, he reached the top division of sumo before transitioning to a combat sports career in Japan. He passed away on January 29th from a serious lung disease. He was only 56 years old. Jim Wallace, Baron Wallace of Tankerness, a prominent Scottish politician and life peer. He served as the Deputy First Minister of Scotland and leader of the Scottish Liberal Democrats, later becoming moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. Jim passed away on January 29th from complications following surgery. He was 71 years old. Raymond Staples, a celebrated Latvian-American painter and playwright. His work is recognized for its vibrant colors and architectural precision, bridging the gap between West Coast realism and abstract expressionism. He passed away on January 29th with cause of death not available. He was 99 years old. Catherine O'Hara, a prolific Canadian-American actress, comedian, and writer. A veteran of SCTV, she has earned international acclaim for her iconic roles in films like Beetlejuice and her Emmy-winning performance in Schitt's Creek. She also played Macaulay Culkin's mom in the first two Home Alone movies. Catherine passed away on January 30th. She was 71 years old. Public information regarding her cause of death is currently not available. Elmar Kasich, an esteemed Estonian neurologist and academic. A professor emeritus at the University of Tartu, he is a member of the Estonian Academy of Sciences and a pioneer in clinical neurology in Northern Europe. He passed away on January 30th at 91 years of age. Public information regarding his cause of death is not available. Mingo Lewis, a veteran American percussionist and songwriter. He is best known for his work with Santana and Return to Forever, contributing his distinctive Latin fusion style to some of the most influential jazz rock albums of the 1970s. He passed away on January 31st. He was 72 years old. Public information regarding his cause of death is not available. Fathi Kamil, a celebrated retired Kuwaiti footballer. Regarded as one of the greatest Asian players of his generation, he led the Kuwaiti national team to victory in the 1980 AFC Asian Cup and a 1982 World Cup appearance. He passed away on January 31st at 70 years old. Public information regarding his cause of death is not available due to death recency. Maximilian Achern, a retired Austrian prelate of the Roman Catholic Church. He served as the Bishop of Linz for over 2 decades, where he was known for his advocacy on social issues and labor rights. He passed away on January 31st with cause of death still unavailable as at video making. He was 93 years old. J. Kennedy, an acclaimed American poet, anthologist, and children's author. He is widely respected for his mastery of traditional meter and rhyme, as well as his significant contributions to American literature and education. Passed away on January 30th, 2026. Public information regarding his cause of death is not available. He was 96 years old. Prasky Vidi, a distinguished Chuvash painter and muralist from Russia. He is celebrated for his large-scale monumental works and his dedication to preserving Chuvash folklore and national identity through fine art. He passed away on January 30th at 89 years old. Public information regarding his cause of death is not available. Sultan Mahmood Chaudhry, a veteran politician who served as the Prime Minister and later the President of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. He has spent decades as a central figure in the region's political landscape. Sultan passed away on January 31st. He was 71 years old. The cause of death was a prolonged illness. Kenneth Schwarzenegger, a retired Navy electrician's mate chief petty officer and former owner of West Tech Incorporated. He was a dedicated veteran and a lifelong fan of classic Western films. He passed on January 18th with public information regarding his cause of death not available. He was 86 years old. The Iran protests. Massive national uprisings began in Iran. Initial reports confirmed at least 7 deaths, though leaked data later suggested thousands were killed in the ensuing weeks. U.S. polar vortex, a massive cold front, part of the winter of 40 years, began sweeping the Midwest from the latter part of January. Drone footage showed Lake Michigan completely cloaked in ice. With satellite imagery, overall Great Lakes ice coverage jumped from 22% to over 80% in just 48 hours. While the polar vortex has begun to retreat north, it has left behind a confirmed death toll of 137 across the U.S. and Canada due to exposure and storm-related accidents. Washington state floods. Record-breaking flooding of the Skagit and Snohomish rivers caused the evacuation of 100,000 people and at least 1 confirmed death. Karachi shopping mall fire. Between mid to late January, a massive inferno at Gul Plaza in Karachi, Pakistan, killed at least 73 people, including a firefighter. Franciscan University tragedy. 2 students, Luke Reimer and Mary Michigan, were found deceased in a vehicle in Ohio. The cause is suspected to be carbon monoxide poisoning. Spain high-speed train collision. At least 46 people died and dozens were injured when 2 high-speed trains collided in southern Spain, Adamas. Over 290 people were injured in total. Indonesia air crash. An Indonesia Air Transport ATR-42 crashed near Mount Bilirao. All 7 passengers and 3 crew are feared dead. Thailand train disaster. 30 people were killed in Sikio district when a massive crane collapsed onto a passenger train. Kenya road safety crisis. A horrific multi-vehicle collision near Gilgil on January 19th killed at least 7 people and injured dozens, highlighting a spike in highway fatalities this month. This was part of a broader, deadlier month on Kenyan highways. Just weeks prior, a similar crash in the same region wiped out an entire family of 14. Southern Africa flooding. Severe flooding has affected 1.3 million people across Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe, leading to a surge in waterborne diseases. The death toll in Mozambique alone has reached 125 as of January 30th. Outbreaks of cholera have been confirmed in Mozambique's Nampula and Tete provinces, with over 1,300 cases reported. Schools in Mozambique have officially postponed their reopening until February 27th due to submerged infrastructure. Indonesia floods and landslides. High-intensity rainfall in West Java triggered a landslide in latter January that killed at least 64 people, with 16 others still missing. This adds to a cumulative toll of over 1,200 deaths from ongoing floods in Sumatra and Aceh since late 2025. Swiss ski resort fire. On January 1st, New Year's celebrations turned tragic in the Swiss Alps when a massive fire at an upscale resort killed 40 people and injured over 100 others. Kolkata warehouse fire. On January 26th, a fire in an Anandapur warehouse killed 21 people, with at least 27 others reported missing under the rubble. DNA testing is currently underway to identify the victims found under the rubble. The North American winter of 40 years. A massive coast-to-coast winter storm system has battered the United States and Canada throughout the latter half of January, between 20 to 27. At least 137 deaths have been confirmed. The storm is now officially recorded as the deadliest winter event in North America since the 2021 Texas power crisis. The Iran massacres, perhaps the most significant and devastating event of the year so far. Violence that includes mass shootings and summary executions in cities like Tehran, Rasht, and Fardis, surpassing any state violence in the region's modern history. While the Iranian government officially acknowledges around 3,117 deaths, human rights groups and hospital data suggest the real figure is upwards of 36,500 people killed in just a 48-hour period in mid-January. Some activist groups and medical networks suggest the actual figure could be as high as 50,000 when accounting for the internet blackout period in mid-January. Main jet crash. On January 25th, a private business jet crashed during takeoff at Bangor International Airport in Maine amidst a severe winter storm, killing all 6 people on board. Cyclone Harry. An exceptionally violent storm in the central Mediterranean has led to a series of horrific shipwrecks involving migrant vessels. The Italian Coast Guard estimates up to 380 people may have drowned while attempting to cross the sea from North Africa. This happened mid-January. Marburg outbreak in Ethiopia. While the WHO officially declared the outbreak over on January 26th, it claimed a total of 14 confirmed and probable lives this month before being contained. These are only people and events influential enough to have made the news. These are people that could be covered. There's probably someone dying when this video was made that couldn't be covered. There's probably someone dying as you watch this video. Still only January. Cherish life.